Faith and intentions is a very powerful, miraculous state of being, state of belief. That's why even Christ said, when you believe, anything is possible. But when you don't, some miracles won't happen. So it's critical to have faith with your intentions. I'm not saying that marriage or holy oil baptism is completely or ineffective. What I'm saying is, with that intention and faith, what infuses it to be the truth, to have some effect. But we're still in a world where you have some form encounter trials and tribulations or temptations, and you have to fight. And patch up those, I'm not going to say patch up, but they're looking for holes in your armor. But by looking for your loopholes, they're exposing their own loopholes, their own true intentions. So it emboldens and empowers you to be on guard and to continue your path towards permanent salvation. Of course, I have the most faith in being celibate or reaching the pinnacle of being, because that is literally putting a damp or stopping the game that they forced us into. That was what Christ stood for us to beat the game, to beat being here, beat from forcing others into flesh, to subject them to the temptations and life and trials and tribulations that you may have gone through, or worse, the uncertainties. So I'm always going to be a strong advocate when it comes to that. But as far as faith, I understand that people have faith that their choices, your union between the people that they so-called love, has some weight and truth to it. And union, baptism, all those different methods help. But it's ideal to be that, to be celibate, to not just don't procreate, to go instinct, to permanent salvations. But I understand that people are on their own individuals' journeys and climbs. And you can't expect everyone to just immediately climb to the top. They have to take it one step at a time. But the intention will always be for us to stay and remain with Yeshua, to stay in permanent salvation and not falling back into the false light. So hopefully the hopes is for one day that we all achieve and win at this life, and to break free. But until then, the methods that we use with faith, benevolent intention, will help us to strive and continue to strive towards permanent salvation. Even if it means I'm not going to say it, but that's just the hopes and the faith and intentions. Continue to infuse it, embolden yourselves, and know that the climb is not in vain, and we can continue to climb towards the ideal to be a holy being and stay in permanent salvation. I have faith that even with knowing all this, that one day we won't have to feel pressured or forced to be incubators and seed planters. That no boy or girl have to be forced to feel that to be a warmonger or conform. That they can be free. Every man and woman can be free from all dead trials and tribulations, temptations, poverty, sickness, all of it. A shift in power or balance between the divinities, because in this realm they have split the divinity into masculine and feminine. The hopes of it is for it to be balanced. The hopes is for it to be shifted towards individuals who understand more of what it means or what it feels to be in a vulnerable situation, or being vulnerable. The matriarchy, in some sense, will achieve liberation, not just for women, but for all, to empower us all to be the best versions of ourselves, to continue that climb. But it is also for the hopes of not to emphasize fertility, but for us all to beat this game, not to continue the lie, but to stay in permanent salvation. That is my only concern. But that is also why I have faith also in it, in the matriarchy system, or potential system that emboldens and empowers everyone, not just a few, to be the best version of themselves, to follow and rise to permanent salvation. It's not about pitting one sex against the other or emphasizing a certain union. It's about breaking the chains and cycles of sin. The chains and cycles are what keeps us feeding into it. To break us from those beings that are just wanting us to keep feeding into the lie, to keep it going. We have what it takes. And if that means that the rise of the matriarchy is what the answer lies, that's where we need to go to reach permanent salvation, then so be it. Because we have tried thousands and thousands of years with the system we were presented, that is presented with as of now. It's time to break free, to rise to permanent salvation. To break free from those roles, to liberate our men's men, women, and children.